Hey, I'm here for Callback Bite with Chris, and I got a question for you, Chris. So, what
Yeah,
is your favorite animated character and why?
my favorite animated character is going to be Solid Snake from the Metal Gear Solid video game franchise. Mainly, he is from Metal Gear 1 and 2, and then Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 4. The reason I would say is going way back to when I was like 6 years old. I was burning up the Pizza Hut demo disc when it came with Metal Gear Solid 1 on it. I wish I could still find that demo disc somewhere, but like I don't know how many times I played that demo disc mission, and it always ended right as you were like sneaking into the air duct to infiltrate the compound on Shadow Moses Island, And I was always just hooked because like in that little demo, you get to know the character of Solid Snake. And from the time I was 6 until I'm about to be 30 in 5 days, I still go back and play these games. Like anytime I think about like what game can I just throw on, no stress, have a good time, Metal Gear Solid, anything is like I can do that to this day. And some of these games are, over 20 years old and they just always have me coming back and like he's a stereotypical American hero, but he doesn't lean into any of it, and that's what I like about it. Like I really like stoic, reserved heroes and characters, but they're also very capable and they know it, but they don't flaunt it. And that's so much of what Solid Snake is. He was inspired by Kurt Russell's Snake Plissken from Escape from New York, and which is another really cool character. And like I said, he's really proficient with hand-to-hand combat and a weapon, whether it be a gun or a knife or anything he can put his hands on. And he's got a long hair and a bandana and he smokes cigarettes. But anytime somebody comments on that and like how cool it is and how he's their hero, he's so self-deprecating because he doesn't see himself that way. He's really cynical. He's like, I'm not a hero. And that's one of his themes that as you grow with his character and he gets older, he's like, everybody sees me as this legend and this hero, but I don't live up to that. I can't live up to that. And that's not who I really am. But I'm really glad you see me that way. And all of these things just always drew me to him from the time, like I said, I picked up that demo disc when I was 6 years old, and I own all the games on different platforms now. But I still have my PS3 hooked up, so I can game on any of those anytime I need to or want to. So yeah, I mean, that's a really long-winded answer, but it comes straight from the heart because he imprinted on me really young as a hero. He's my first video game hero, and I guess, like I said, my favorite animated character and animated hero too, for all those reasons. So
And do you have a favorite uh, version of Snake from any of the games, or would you just say you just like him throughout the series?
I'm really glad you asked that question because I was thinking about that leading up to this. Because, yeah, every time you see him in each different game, it's a very different version of the character. I was mainly introduced to him in Metal Gear Solid 1, and he's like in his mid late 20s. He's got a hot streak coming out of his behind. He knows he's the best, and he's a little bit douchey about it in that game, but he's still really reserved. But he does lean into the legend archetype a little bit more in that game. But then in Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, he's way more of the like worn down, I just want to be done with this. Like he's not like old yet, but it's like, I don't know, Rambo in like Rambo 3 or 4. He can still do it. He's still the top of his game. He's still the guy to go to. He just doesn't want to do it, but he will. I'd have to say probably Metal Gear Solid 2 Snake is my favorite iteration because he's the perfect combination of he's still young, youthful, he's still got the brown hair. He's the version of Snake, and when I think of Solid Snake, I see in my head. And then in Metal Gear Solid 4, it's really sad because we see that thus the reason he exists from the cloning project, it's killing him. He has accelerated aging. So he may only be like 40 years old, but he looks like he's 60 plus, and it's really sad. So I love the game and the story, but it's also bittersweet to play that game and watch him the whole time because it's like, man, that's not the version of my hero I see in my head when I think of him. but it's like, dang, this is where he ends up at the end of his story is just this withering away old man. Like he can still do it, but he's on the edge, he's worn down.
No, no, thank you. And this has been Callback Bites.